All right, guys, welcome back to another Phasmophobia beginner's guide, new player's guide, tutorial, whatever you want to call it. In today's episode, we're going to be going through Tanglewood. Me and Sobi and I are going to be doing this, and we're going to give you guys a rundown of all of the basic equipment. We're actually playing 100% on amateur, just so, again, we have more time to talk to you guys, and then also so we can explain, if this is your first time ever playing, how the clock works, where everything is, what you need to be looking for, clues, different things like that. So, Sobi, let's open it up.
Yeah, absolutely. So welcome in, guys. If you are new to Phasmophobia, or if this is something that you're thinking about picking up, but you also want to be a little bit prepared, this is what this video series is kind of for. It's going to explain a little bit of the equipment, some of the timer, everything that basically is kind of going to go through our heads on what we want to do and what we're actually thinking about while we're actually playing. Just that way you can kind of see two experienced players kind of go through the rundown of everything that we have. So first and foremost, when you spawn in the van, there's going to be a key that pops up. You're going to want to grab that key so that way you can actually get into the door. Second, you're going to notice that there's a monitor right here. This monitor right here is going to be for any video cameras. So here's the video cameras right here. This is going to be for any video cameras that you set up so you can actually see them in the van. Thirdly, there's going to be a timer right here on amateur. That is a 5-minute timer, so you get a lot of time before your actually sanity starts draining, everything like that, so that way you can kind of get prepared and set up. Try to find as much information as what you can before that goes out, so that way you can try to keep from getting hunted.
Yeah, so that timer's going to start counting down the moment we open the front door to the building. Now, you guys, if you're playing on amateur, you don't have to worry about this as much. Whenever you walk into the building, all the power is going to be on. As you progress in difficulty, when you like go into intermediate, professional, or nightmare mode, the power will be off, and you will want to go over here and look at your map, and you can click this button to cycle through the floors. So you click here, it'll actually show you this little green icon up here. Will show you where the breaker is located. So this is the basement, so we know where the breaker is. But you kind of want to keep that in mind as well, even if you are playing on amateur, because sometimes the ghost will flip the breaker off, and you guys are going to want to get that on as soon as possible, depending on what type of ghost it is. There are certain ghosts where you might want to keep that off.
Absolutely. Thirdly, one big thing you want to look at is the optional objectives board right here. That is going to give you kind of some optional objectives that you can either choose to do or choose to not do. So in this instance, detect a ghost presence with a motion sensor. We don't have motion sensors because we are on amateur, so that is not something that unfortunately you would be able to do as an amateur. Find evidence of the paranormal with an Emf Reader. That is something that we would be able to do. And have a member of your team witness a ghost event. So those are all kind of easy ones to do. The other thing to kind of keep in mind is here on amateur, it is also going to tell you if it's going to respond to everyone. The ghost also seems to respond to everyone, or if the ghost seems to respond alone. Those are kind of good things to kind of keep in mind. As you go further on in the game and your difficulty goes up, it will no longer tell you if it is an everyone ghost or if it's an alone ghost. Yeah, that's kind of good to keep in mind.
Keep that in mind. Some ghosts, you have to be alone in order to get them to interact with you via the spirit box. Sometimes they will stop touching things if there's multiple people nearby, stuff like that. Now, it also does tell you the ghost's name. It'll tell you this on every difficulty. So the ghost name on this one is Dorothy Clark. You can use that typically if you want to make the ghost angry. It'll start interacting with more things or do things more often, but there is kind of a catch-22 on that, where you say the ghost name and you make it mad, you can force it to hunt. So be careful with the ghost name.
Yeah, absolutely. And it even tells you right there, you should be able to use his name and anger it and get some paranormal activity. So just kind of be careful about that. Now, this is, again, on PC, we're playing on mouse and keyboard, so WASD, that's how you move around. To hit your journal, you're going to want to hit J, and this is going to bring up all the different kind of like ghosts that you can actually get. You can see that there is altogether there's 21 ghosts, so that's a lot of different ghosts that it can be. Your evidence page is going to be probably the most important. That's actually going to be where you're going to record the evidence that you get, and as you go through, it'll kind of get rid of some of the ghosts. Like, for example, if you choose EMF level 5, it'll get rid of the ghosts that are only going to be the EMF 5 ghosts that have that as an option for their evidence. Now, as you're ghost hunting, there's going to be 3 evidences that you need to get. So whether it's any of the ones that you see right here, so EMF 5, fingerprints, and then ghost writing, you know that that's going to be, for example, with just what I have selected, a myling. So as you get your evidence, you're going to want to make sure you mark it. Again, that hotkey is J. Real quick, let's go over here. Let's talk about some of the equipment that you see. And if we can, we'll try to get this into the video if we can get some of the evidence that you would see. So first and foremost, you're going to have the EMF reader right here. That's going to be a good way to find, like, if anything, if it touches a door or anything like that, you can use that to try to get an EMF reading. That is a very good tool. You're going to have the spirit box. So to use that, what you're going to do is you're going to want to have it in your hand. You're going to right click, so that way it can do that. And then you're going to want to hit your V key, so that way you can talk to it. We'll do that once we're inside. The ghostwriting book, basically that is one that you're just going to pick up. You're going to put it in the ghost room once you find it, and you're just going to leave it there. And hopefully it interacts with it eventually. So you place it down with F. You can throw items by hitting G, but this one, it's actually going to have like a little outline that you'll see, and you'll hit F to put that down. Same with the dots projector right here. It's this like little black box. That is going to be a way that you're going to be able just to do, you're going to look at something and you're going to be able to put it. Now this one is kind of different than the ghostwriting book. You're going to be able to put it on a wall, or you're going to be able to put it on the floor. So again, it's the same way with the G and the F key. Again, right here, you're going to have the video camera. This is again going to be one that you're going to want to place using the F key. Basically what you're going to do is once you find the room, you're going to want to put it in there, so that way you can try to get one of the evidences, which is ghost orb. And that's the same thing you're going to do with the dots projector, where it'll be dots projector. You'll see if we can get the evidence for that. We'll show you what it looks like on screen.
Don't forget, in order to rotate the camera when you're looking at an object, you have to left click.
Yes, that is true. Now, kind of going down one level here. So the silver lightsaber looking things, that's going to be a flashlight. We will show you what this looks like. This is commonly referred to as the crappy flashlight, just because it's not as good. It doesn't show up as bright as what you would want. So we're going to start out using this to just try to find the room. But then once we find the room, we're actually going to transition to the other ones right here. This is what's called the strong flashlight. Those are much better, much brighter. You can see already, look at the difference there. That is a very big difference. And just, yeah, you can just throw it on the ground. That's fine. Then this one right here, that's going to be the UV light. This is going to be how you're going to find like fingerprints or anything along those lines. So basically you'll be able to see like fingerprints if it touches a door, a
window.
What is a window, light switch, all of those. That's how you'll be able to see that. Thirdly, and I feel for amateur probably the most important, is going to be the camera, the photo camera here. Me personally, I like to try to get as much money as what I can whenever I'm ghost hunting. So you're going to want to try to take photos, and I'll take that one on as I'm kind of walking through. I'll show you guys kind of what I look for once we get in the house, to try to maximize how much money you can actually get from the ghost hunt itself. But other than that, I'm going to go ahead and grab my EMF reader, my camera, and I've got my, like I said, what we would commonly refer to this as the crappy flashlight.
And I'm going to start out with EMF and black light. And we're going to go ahead and move in. Again, we don't have to turn on the breaker, but I'm going to head towards the breaker just to kind of give you guys an idea of what a future run would look like whenever you guys get into that. And just kind of head that way, and then we'll kind of sweep from different directions. So I'm assuming you're probably going to start at the front of the house, and I'll start out where that is, and we'll just kind of move in.
So this is on one of the beginning maps. This is called Tanglewood. I'm going to show you guys what I would do normally. So when I go into this house, what I'm going to be doing, the first thing that I'm going to try to do is when you first walk in, the ghost is not going to be that like aggressive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for a couple of key items, what we call bone. the cursed item, and if I can actually find anything else, like if we get any other evidence, that's what I'll be taking pictures of. So I'm in the house now. I know where the spawns are on this map, so I'm going to go and kind of look for some of the cursed items, just kind of look around and see if I can see anything. So it touched a door somewhere. I don't know if you heard that.
I did not.
Okay, so it touched this door right here. So this is kind of a good indication that it's in this room. It's in the front blue room.
Okay, I'm heading back upstairs. So, again, I'll normally start out down here in the basement or wherever the breaker is, and then kind of just sweep from here.
Yeah, so it's touched both of the closet doors here, and you can see the closet. This is actually a good place that you can kind of hide from the ghost if it ever starts hunting. But he's got the UV light, so he's probably going to go ahead and look at that with the UV light, I would assume. But now that he's in there doing that, we kind of know where the ghost is. I'm going to continue to look for the other evidences that I was telling you. All right. Well, that definitely spooked me a lot right there.
Was that in the bathroom?
That was in the hallway. So as you can see, I took a picture and I got an interaction level 2. I was actually trying to take a picture of the ghost itself. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get that picture, but it at least gave me an interaction. So that's good.
So at this point, we haven't really narrowed down the exact room. We know it's in this location, so it's either in this blue room, or it could be a hallway ghost, or even a bathroom ghost. But it seems like it's hanging out more towards this blue room because it just touched the door in here again. I don't have fingerprints yet, so I'm gonna assume at this point it's probably not gonna be fingerprints that we're looking for. And I'm gonna head back out to the van and grab my next set of equipment, which is gonna be the spirit box and probably one of the cameras.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I'm still in the house. So on my screen right here, you can see this is one of the cursed items that I was talking about. This is called the tarot cards. What you want to do to try to get a really good picture of it is you want to try to get as close to it as what you can. And if you want to line it up, if you see the little, like kind of the little boxes, the 9 boxes that it has on the camera, if you can get it as close as you can in that middle box, then you just snap a picture of it, and then you can actually hit your J key. You can look at your photos, and you can see tarot card 3 gold stars. So the camera will get you, so that's actually going to be like a little bit of extra money. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to go through the house and just kind of look for the bone. Now that's the most important thing that I can look for, and it's right here actually. So now again, same thing. You want to try to like get it just right in that little middle area and snap a photo of it and then pick it up. You're going to use E to pick it up. So that way you can get that. And again, if you go to your evidence, you can see right there, 3-star bone picture. Perfect. So now my job is essentially done with the camera. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come back out. I'm going to put the camera, I'm going to leave the camera here just that way if we need it, we know where it is. It's just right there at the front door. And then I'm going to come back to the van and I'm going to get some extra evidence or some extra tools. I know he said he got camera and a spirit box. So I'm going to grab what's next, which is going to be a book and dots.
All right, so I am back in the room here. I'm going to go ahead and get a camera placed in the blue room. And the main reason why I am is the EMF keeps going off in here. So it's definitely hanging around in this area now. It could be just wandering in and out of here, but it keeps touching the door. So I'm going to assume, we're just going to assume right now that this might be the room. I placed the camera. I just rotated it around. You can see the front of the lens here. It's going to close up the moment that you place it down, but I've got it kind of angled to where we can get, well, hopefully, let me re-angle this. I'm going to try to get as much of the room as I can. So that way when we're looking out from the van, we can see as much as possible. And then I'm going to go ahead and flip off the light. Now, in order to use the spirit box and to actually get it to work, you have to have the light off. So we're going to go ahead and close the door and flip off the light. Now, the only reason why I close the door is because if it isn't a lone ghost, if there's another person in the house, you want to be as isolated as possible, have them as far away from you as you can. It just threw something in the room with me. So we're going to get this started. I'm going to press my V key now, and I'm going to ask it 3 questions. Where are you? How old are you? And are you friendly? It just buzzed the phone over here. That startled me. Those are going to be your 3 main questions that you're going to want to ask it. And typically, those will get you a response if it's going to talk to you. So let's get that going. Where are you?
I'm behind you.
All right, so you guys heard that. Immediately, we got a response. It's knocking again. I'm going to go ahead and double check for fingerprints. But we do have Spirit Box as a clue now. So we have our first clue. And, man, this thing is just messing with everything. It's definitely revving up.
Okay, and so now that he's here, I'm actually still in the van. I wanted to talk to you guys about the timer. The timer is over. One thing that I like to do once I'm done with the actual camera and everything like that is I'll come back. Normally, we don't have the timer because I normally play on professional. So the timer is gone now, and you can see our sanity is definitely a little bit drained. You want to kind of keep an eye on your sanity because that is going to be how the ghost actually hunts. So once you get to a couple of different sanity thresholds, that's when the ghost is really, really going to like rev up and start doing some extra spooky stuff. The other thing I wanted to point out are optional objectives. You can see we've already done 2 out of the 3. So the first one is always going to be to discover what the ghost is that we're dealing with. So basically these optional objectives are just extra money. So as an amateur, you want to try to be getting as much money as you can so that way you can get better equipment. So for example, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my standard flashlight just so I can kind of show you now what the difference is with picking up actual like a stronger flashlight. These are kind of some of the items that you would want to get first and foremost. The second thing that I did, because he said he had a camera in there, is I went ahead and I looked at the camera. So whenever somebody places a camera down, you can see on the monitor, this is what it'll be. It'll just be the standard, whatever camera is actually in the house. If you look at the mouse and you actually left click, it'll swap it over to the camera that you have. Now, if the person itself hasn't turned on the night vision of the camera, you can actually just look at the keyboard and again, left click and it'll turn on the night vision. One thing that I want to go ahead and point out is you can see our second evidence that we have right here is actually going to be ghost orbs. You can see it by that little orb floating around on the screen. It is going to be different. Sometimes what you'll want to not be confused about, and this map is actually perfect, what you'll not want to be confused about is sometimes you will see snow as it kind of is falling, and sometimes it clips through the house, so you'll kind of be a little bit confused on that. Snow is always going to fall straight down, while the ghost orb, you'll see it kind of moves left to right. It kind of hovers around. It goes up. So you'll see that is for sure a ghost orb. So that's going to be our second evidence. So thus far in our hunt, we have Spirit Box and Ghost Orb. And if you're looking at your journal, you'll be able to see that those are going to be 3 different kind of ghosts that we have available to us now. So you can see how it really, once you start getting evidence, it really narrows down what you actually need to get. The other thing that I'm going to do now is we have the options of Mare, Yokai, or Onryo. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the Mare and kind of see the evidence that it's needed. Again, you just go to, you just hit your J key. It should pull up the evidence screen. You go to the ghost, and then you just look for what it is. So it says Mare. You're going to kind of see this one. It says evidence down here. It'll always be 3 types of evidence. So this is Spirit Box, Ghost Orb, and Ghost Writing. Okay, so Yokai is going to be Spirit Box, Ghost Orb, and dots. I have the dots on me, so as soon as we can, we'll get that in. And then Onryo is going to be Spirit Box, Ghost Orbs, and freezing temperatures. Okay.
Do you also have the book on you?
I do also have the book. So let's go ahead. Let's put both of these options, or let's go ahead and put both of these tools in here. You can hear that it's already started messing with a few of the other things. Okay. And we're just going to turn the light on. And it's messing with that right there. So let's just put this, we'll just put it right there on the keyboard. And then where he has the camera posted up, we're just going to put the dots projector right there on the ground. Again, you place it with the F key. You can see it's got some pretty, just turn that on.
EMF level 4?
EMF level 4, okay. So it turned the lights out. That is, it's definitely messing with us. So again, you can see Obi over there, he's taking some pictures. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm actually just going to, I'm gonna dip out. I'm just gonna go ahead and leave.
And watch the camera, man.
I'm gonna turn the light out and I'm gonna close the door and then I'm just gonna step outside. and watch the cam, see if we get any of the evidence on the cam, so like dots or anything like that, and we'll kind of show you what the dots is going to look like.
Might be kind of hard from this angle, so I may have to move the camera.
Might, but we should be able to see it.
Yeah,
we should be able to see it because it'll be
a secondary cam.
Okay. Oh, actually, we just got dots on my screen.
Perfect.
Yeah, we actually just got dots. So if you guys were able to see it, it does happen a little quick. We'll try to slow it down, but basically, right from bed going to the closet, you were able to see a little bit of an outline, a whiter, like a white outline of it. Sometimes you can actually see it without the night vision on, and sometimes it makes it a little easier to see. So we'll kind of wait right here and just see if we get it again. But while we are, I'll just kind of talk about the things that you would want to do. So you always want to try to give yourself a nice wide spread with the dots. So that way it kind of covers as much area as what you can. And then usually you just kind of have to wait for it to happen.
Now, one thing that I do want to point out that you need to be careful of is if you guys see a ghost orb, even if you're 100%, if you're like, man, this thing, like, so for instance, right now with our current evidence, it says yokai. We have the ghost orb. So there is a small chance when you have a ghost orb that it could be a mimic, and a mimic will act like another ghost in its behaviors, not necessarily, don't look at the evidence. Like evidence, it won't mimic their evidence. It'll mimic their behaviors. Now, I know it's not a mimic on this round, and the only reason why I know it's not a mimic is it didn't give us fingerprints, and it's not going to give us fingerprints. I've checked multiple times. Typically, if it touches something and it's a fingerprints ghost, it'll give it to you immediately. You'll be able to see that immediately. So, but just keep that in mind. If you guys see a ghost orb, even if you guys have all three evidence, make sure, be 100% sure that it's not a mimic.
So yeah, I mean, basically we have all the evidence here that we need. Very, I would say, easy-ish hunt. So, I mean, it didn't really do much as far as, like, it definitely talked in our ear a couple of good times, and it's moved a lot of stuff around in that room. Now, to kind of talk about the actual kind of ghost that it is, the yokai, this is kind of a different kind of ghost. So, Obi and myself, we're actually using Discord to converse and talk. A lot of times, if you're just to join in on some... that's not going to be the case if you're joining in on like a multiplayer world or a multiplayer hunt, like open lobby. You'll actually have to use the V key and the B key. So V for Victor, B for Bravo. Those keys right there to actually be able to talk to your other fellow ghost hunters.
We can actually show them what it sounds like too. So if you want to step in real quick, I'll mute our Discord audio whenever in the edit. And then we can just solely... It killed the power. So this is perfect, actually. So it killed our power. So this is a perfect time to show you guys... Hey, excuse me. Sorry about that. Show you guys... Got to flip this breaker back on. So if you guys look at the light switch, if I try to turn it on, nothing happens. However, if you come over here, just left-click on the breaker. It's going to turn it back on, and now the lights will work. So, with that being said... In order to talk in-game, you just hold the V key, and Sobi should be able to hear me just clear now. It's probably going to be a little loud if you're standing next to each other. And then if we go to opposite sides of the house, he can just hang out there for a minute, and I'll step into, let's just say this bedroom over here. You can press B, which is going to be your walkie-talkie. And we can now talk to each other from across the house. So that works great if you guys are playing on open lobby and you're not in a Discord call or Discord voice chat with each other. You just want to keep in mind that anytime that you're using the... You can step out now. Anytime that you're using the in-game chat, the ghost can hear everything that you're saying. It can track you that way. It can hear you. So if it's hunting, you don't want to be talking. And then, again, back to what he was saying about the yokai. The yokai strength is that the more you talk around it, the angrier it gets. So you can actually force it to hunt just by talking.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is something that you want to kind of keep in mind. Now, one thing that we're going to do later on in a couple other episodes, again, if you guys are enjoying this, please hit the like button. It helps us grow and reach a broader audience, and we definitely do appreciate it. And it lets us know that this is helpful to you guys as well. One thing that we're going to do later on in a future episode, these cursed items, we are going to show you guys exactly how they are used, what they are used for, everything along those lines. So again, make sure if you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button. Stay around for that. As you can see, I'm now having a ghost event. Little kid standing right there. I am out. I'm out of this house. I'm done. So as you guys can see, now we are done with the hunt, and you can see that we're back here, and you see how much money we actually made from the actual hunt itself. A cool $65. Now, one thing that I want to point out, this is the reason that it's so important to take those photos, guys, is because look at that. We got $25 from the photos that we had got. That is, I mean, more than the objective, more than the optional objectives. And again, we did get $10 extra from that bone evidence. So those are kind of some of the things that you want to keep in mind. Keep that, make sure you're taking those photos, guys. And again, that was going to be the bone that you want to take the photo of. That was going to be the cursed object that you want to take the photo of, and you want to try to get those as high as what you can, and then just really anything else that you can actually get from the ghost itself. So if it was going to have fingerprints, you want to try to take a photo of that. Any kind of interaction or anything like that, those are always so super important. Just kind of keep that in mind.
Yeah, so if it interacts with anything, the book, if it writes in the book, if you can capture a photo of that as well. There will be certain instances where you'll place salt on the ground, and we'll show that in a future video. And if it steps in the salt, you can actually take a picture of that as well. So pretty much like I said, anything that, or like he said, anything that it interacts with, snap a photo of it, and it's going to give you extra money. Now, keep in mind that the devs do plan on updating how the payments work. So eventually, number one objective, which is figure out which ghost type you're looking for, that will actually give you the best payout in the future. They just haven't fixed that yet. So yeah, but that's going to wrap everything up. Until next time, this is Obi.
This is Obi.
Signing out.
See you guys next time.